Hi everybody, welcome to your Module 2 overview video. I am perhaps developing a little bit of a cold, so hopefully my voice isn't too froggy and I won't have to clear it as much. So for Module 2, we're going to be diving kind of straight into differentiation. We've got a few modules that cover differentiation, and this will be the first one. I'll say a little bit more about that in a moment. Just a quick reminder that GAGC is coming up at the beginning of March. Let your gifted coordinator know if you are interested in joining. And from there, just general updates for the course. I did submit your level of achievement reports for Course 2 to Siri. Overall, I want to say that you guys have done an excellent job so far. I've kind of bragged on you guys a little bit for just your overall enthusiasm, even though I know it wanes sometimes, but just your commitment to the coursework. And many of you are clearly taking a lot of time and being really thorough with your assignments and really thorough with your reflection. And so first I want to say thank you. And then second, it makes my job easier. And then second, great work. And so Course 2 was not always like the most exciting. I mean, assessment just in general can be a little bit more of a dry topic. And so good job. You're done with Course 2. Hopefully in this course, when we start looking more about strategies, it will be a little bit more applicable for your classroom. Your grade sheets have been updated with Course 3. So you can find that. And then comments on evaluations for Course 2. Thank you so much for completing those course evaluations and the instructor evaluations. Overall, just one thing I want to comment on is I know that some of the assessment material wasn't directly related to your classroom, especially middle school teachers who might not be super involved with the identification process and eligibility team meetings. And for high school teachers especially, that's just not part of it. And so, yeah, I know. That's part of what, most of the bulk of Course 2 of assessment is geared towards how do we identify these kids. I'm trying to try to take that feedback, and if I am still the course instructor for next year, try to be a little bit more strategic about how we can look more about assessment in the classroom. However, some of those things about assessing in the classroom is going to come in this course, which is strategies and methods and materials for teaching the gifted. So hopefully we will talk about differentiating assessments. We might take a look again about rubrics, but hopefully if you did some of the course reading for Course 2, you might have found where we did talk about, I know, assessment in the classroom. I know it was only for like 1 or 2 weeks, but anyways, hopefully this course is designed to be more applicable for you. So, quick review of some of the comments that are on the Padlet page from reading those 2 short blog posts from Delisle and Tomlinson, where they're basically arguing about differentiation. I think the responses are great. I love seeing a wide variety of responses. And so keep that up. For those who did respond by Monday at midnight, I'm going to be giving you, I've got a list of you all. I'm going to be giving you a few extra kind of bonus points in the participation section of your grade sheet. So I haven't updated those yet, but I've got your name down, so don't worry. I'll give you a few extra points for participating on that. You're still welcome to go back and to visit the Padlet page if you want. That link is on Module 1 if you want to look over those. So for Module 2, Differentiation Strategies Part 1, I switched up a little bit of the readings this year compared to last year. So these next 3 modules where we're talking about differentiation is just going to be like reviewing a bunch of strategies. And I'm hoping that these strategies are going to be applicable for your classroom, but you are going to have to adapt them for your classroom, and you're going to have to adapt them for your content area. Later on, I'll give you some more specific resources that might be more directed towards your content, especially for middle school and high school teachers. I have those to give you, but for right now, these are just strategies that you might have to kind of morph into something that would be appropriate. So when you do these readings, read that with that in mind, right? Also, these next 3 weeks, just consider them all to be differentiation strategies. The textbooks that you have, the Teaching Tools textbook and the Teaching Gifted Kids textbook, they parceled out all these differentiation strategies like in different places. And so it was really, I didn't want to be like, read these 3 pages here and these 12 pages here. And then like next week you go back into those same chapters and read different like paragraphs. So what I did is just kind of group them by paragraph. And then at the end of kind of our reading of differentiation is when you're going to be working on some model lesson plans. And that show, excuse me, sorry, that shows some of these differentiated strategies in that. So for Teaching Tools, you're going to be looking at chapters 1 through 4. And Teaching Gifted Kids, that's that orange textbook, you're going to be reading chapter 2. There's an article by Burns, 1993, and this is the article that your article review number 1 is on. And it's a fairly short article. It's not like, it's not like a research article, but it's talking about identifying thinking skills for for instruction in your classroom. So I'm prompting you to, of all the types of thinking skills that Burns presents, which thinking skills do you most often use? And then consider ways that you perhaps can start to include some of the other thinking skills that you might not use in your classroom very much. And I skipped to the middle, but the presentation that I have is just a slideshow. I kind of, instead of doing even more reading, I just parceled together like a differentiation primer, so to say. A lot of this work does come from Tomlinson. And in this presentation, it's very important that you read it, because in this presentation is where I break down how, in general, we can differentiate based on content, based on process, and based on product. Those are 3 primary ones. You can also differentiate based on learning environment. However, that's going to be more applicable to elementary school teachers. So for those of you, elementary learning environment might work, especially, because we differentiate with pull-out programs, or you have little centers in your room. Middle school and high school, it's a little bit more non-traditional to have the flexibility or the privilege to be able to differentiate a child's learning environment. And with that, Tomlinson talks about how you can differentiate content and product and process based on student readiness, student interest, or student learning profile, which is just talking about the ways in which students learn. So read that presentation and let that be your foundation for when you read all of the strategies. Presentation first, readings come second, and then your article review, I think it's just 3 paragraphs, will be submitted to your folder. Looking ahead, if you plan to complete an exemplary project for Course 3, please notify me by Module 3. Those are listed on your syllabus, and just a reminder about our in-residence dates. That's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and as always, if you have any questions, please let me know.